pass around. I think you need to hold that one quite close to your face. Very much enjoyed that, guys. It was fantastically shot, beautiful, very well written as well. I was just wondering, especially I'd like to start with you two, the two executive producers. I was just wondering where it started from your guys' perspective, and what was the first step in your experience?
I think it started way back. I actually went to boarding school for high school with Karan, who wrote the film. He's been very talking about this kind of through school. He did a lot of plays in school. He spoke about it later, about I believe almost 5 years ago, when he first, 5 or 6 years ago, when he first brought the idea up. And it's taken 4 or 5 years to build, but it's been a continuous work in progress. Every year after year, we would keep meeting and continue talking about it. And it's been a very long journey. Hats off to the crew that have put in a lot of sweat, working their day jobs and doing the great film that they made. But it's been a very long but rewarding experience working with Karan and the crew, because they continuously kept bringing out of the box creative ways to cut the film, to do it. And the storyline is very deep. It's got a lot of meanings that touch on just the society in general in India, from corruption to idol worship to everything. So it captures a lot. So it's been a long but great experience.
So how come it took that long? I remember you saying something about that.
Yeah, I think primarily it took long, and Abhinay might be able to shed more light on this, is because the entire crew had day jobs. And when I say the entire crew, it was basically Abhinay and Karan Gaur.
Yeah.
So it's quite the skeleton crew to begin with. Rasika, Alek, they've all done a great job, but they all had their day jobs as well.
Yeah.
So again, it was trying to make ends meet on a budget that was probably one of the smallest budgets, I would say. It wasn't very exorbitant, it was very small, so it took time to get those baby steps going, in addition to them keeping their day jobs. So,
and if you don't mind me asking, I was wondering, how did you go about raising the budget? You two were the executive producers, so what kind of steps did you take for any kind of budding filmmakers out here who want to raise a budget? What motions did you go through?
Well, I probably have a biased answer to this, but I'm an IT consultant in my day job. And that helped. I have a few other businesses that I've started myself outside the film industry. So I raised money through my own businesses, and since I've known Karan and I saw good talent as they were building the film, I essentially funded it from my own non-film businesses that I have been doing over the past 8 to 10 years.
We were doing that crowdsourcing bit also back in the day. So initially it was quite a bit crowd-funded in terms of social networks and Twitter, all of that.
Yeah.
So
okay, I see.
This was before like Kickstarter and all became like big in a way it is now.
Yeah.
But now it's easier. Like you just put out a little idea out and you put out.
So how did you crowdfund it? Was literally
we were just pretty much asking people on Facebook that this is our project, this is what we're talking about, and do you guys want to put in money into this? So people were putting like 2,000 rupees, which is like 20 pounds or something.
Okay. And
those was kind of amount just built up. And these guys were there, they were putting in some money. There was a little weird thing happening, like one of our exec producers, he won a game show.
Yeah.
And he got some money from that game show. So he said that if I win it, I'm going to put in money from that. So initially it was actually a little 20-minute film, which we got a bit more money, and then it became like a full-length film.
Yeah.
Karan wrote a bit more on it. We were attacking it from a different angle, and then he took another angle to it, and then it became like a full 92-minute film.
I see.
Yeah.
If I could just quickly ask Amit, how did you get involved? What grabbed you about? Did you get sent a script? Did something grab you about it? What was it? How did you start?
Actually, to begin with, Karan is my younger brother, so it was there in the family, and he came up to us one day saying that he's written a script. And he made us read through the script in the family. First of all, we were all surprised to see the kind of depth that he went into, considering that he's not married. He's never had such problems in life. So we were surprised to actually hear him narrate the script to us. So I think that's where it began. We could see that there has been a lot of effort put into the script of the movie. I think that was the building block from where everybody began, and I think each one of us standing here was first sold on the script before we looked at the next step. And I think once the script was there, the money started coming in. I pitched in some money from my own kitty, when I could. Some money was sourced from people, as you said, Twitter, Facebook, and eventually, once we saw, I even visited a couple of scenes that were being shot, and I was telling Abhinay this, that I remember the kind of houses we had rented out to actually shoot all this, and they were actually very noisy houses, and deep inside the lanes of Mumbai, as we call it. But as and when we could see the progress of the film happening, we realized that we were in for something special. Not just special because of the content, but also special because of the kind of effort that was being put in. Two people trying to make a feature film in a place like India has not been heard of. There aren't too many stories you'll hear of two people trying to make a film. Everybody else pitched in, but we were all pitching in through money.
Yeah.
But
no, the idea wasn't that we were going to be on just two people. It came down to that.
Yeah, it came down to that.
That's how it happens.
Pro filmmaking tip, by the way. There, everything starts with the script. And in the beginning, there was the word and all that. It all starts there with a good script. I was wondering, as the DOP, what do you think? I mean, we know. I think a lot of kind of Western audiences see India as a very colourful place, especially because of things like Slumdog Millionaire, for example, extremely colourful movie. So what was the influence behind the decision to shoot all of this in black and white?
Firstly, the script.
Yeah.
Like the script,
was it stipulated in the script that it
No. The way you can look at it, we were dealing a bit with obsession. Firstly, firstly, it wasn't positive. We knew that. Yeah, we were like, obsession can be positive. This film is a result of an obsession, but then it wasn't what we were talking about. And then the way her life was, it was sort of without color that way, without that whole glory bit. So it was fitting in all of that. Then we were sort of saving money in our direction. So all of that sort of all fit together in a little picture.
Yeah. And what challenges did you face kind of shooting in black and white? What did you have to be careful of lighting and stuff like that? I mean, maybe some of the nighttime scenes, did you have to be quite careful with how you lit those, or?
It was both a boon as well as a thing. Like, it was a problem as well as advantage. Like, in a lot of parts, we couldn't afford to get video lights, so we were shooting with pretty much yellow light on there.
Yeah.
Most of it was practically lit, so we could cheat away a lot of things just with that way, because it was black and white.
Yeah.
Things like visual effects were much easier to finish off with not having color in it.
Right. Oh, yeah. One more thing I did need to. I'm going to throw it open to the audience any second now. I did just want to ask, how did you achieve some of those effects, like the really big person in the doorway and the tapping against the screen, stuff like that? How was that done? Briefly, kind of explain.
Visual effects, a bit of green screen, a bit of
green screen. So
there were like little parts that we could afford to. But the green screen, we had to build our own panels.
Yeah.
We had to build our own techniques for green screening, because we were firstly, this film was not shot on HD. It was shot on HD, but there's a bit of a correction there. So that has its own color problems. So, as a format, it's not very well suited to color.
Right.
But then that's all we could afford. This was shot before the 5D came out. So now the world is a much happier place.
So doing yourself green screen, which is pretty amazing. So I'll open it out here. Anyone got any questions for our execs and DOP?
What cameras did you use?
What cameras?
What cameras did you use to film?
We actually only had these two cameras. One of them was from this one other friend of ours who had this camera called the HVR ZX7, which is a Sony HTV little. It's almost like a news camera. So that was one camera, and the other camera that we had access to, we would rent out whenever we didn't have access to this one, was a Z1U from Sony again. These are really old cameras, from back in the day. And the thing was that these don't have any interchangeable lenses. So if we had to change our lensing in a certain way, we had to just get a different camera. And that's the way to do it.
There you go. Any questions? Yeah.
the idea of somebody being very religious and stealing money to fulfill their religious dreams, is that based on anything?
So the thing is, this film wasn't really. We were not going to talk about religion. It was about a study of an obsession. This is what basically what this film is about. But the way we could afford to do it, the direct thing was religion, because that's one thing that's big in India, and we were just trying to figure out that how much can a person break down, how much of their mindset and their morals can be broken down just because of their obsession. So even though it doesn't make sense in the religious sense of things, in the spiritual sense of things, but then that's not what her thought process was in the first place. Like, it's very easy to see people going a little overboard with their morals when talking about religion.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the process of her mind kind of becoming, because she becomes totally obsessed.
Yeah.
Especially everything in her life becomes about the statue, isn't it?
Yeah. So it just came down to that. That was the thing, that I get that statue and like all my problems in life, because those were the things that were driving her towards. Yeah.
Anyone else?
She's an established actress that maybe played the lead role in India.
She is getting there now. Like she was mostly, both of them were theatre actors, so they've done a lot of theatre. But this was her first proper role where she was used properly in her skills, I would say. Whatever. Yeah.
This was her first full-fledged.
No, like otherwise she has a few big films out, but then she wasn't used as much as what we used her.
Just two more, if that's okay. Anyone? No, okay. I'll give you 5 minutes while I ask another question. You can come up with one. I was wondering, where did the statue come from? Where did you find it? Is there a special story behind it, or is it just something you picked up, or?
Actually, it's not Lakshmi. It's not goddess Lakshmi. There's this another.
I've been fooled.
No, what we found was we just pretty much attached the lotus under it as coming out from a lotus flower. That way. Yeah.
Where did you find the statue? Was it in a shop? Did you go somewhere?
Yeah, we found a pre-made statue which we just made a few adjustments to, and like did a little bit with attaching that lotus under it. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah, and all those other statues in the shop were also, we had just found them.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question from the audience. Anyone come up with a good one?
How much was the statue, the one that you used?
It was very close to
Yeah.
what she was paying for it. Yeah.
Cryptic, I like it. Okay, one last question from me. What's next for you guys? Are you going to do any more film? What are you filming next? Are you two exec producing anything? Are you thinking of moving into producing? What's the story?
So Karan is writing his next one. He's still in the process of writing, so I think that's going to take another year or something.
So I think once again, once we hear the script, that's the time we decide how much and from where can we source the money for it.
So do you guys like working as a unit then? Are you quite tied together?
No,
So
it's all spread out. I've moved to Birmingham, so I'm like here.
Okay.
And,
So
they are in the US, so it's all over the place.
But I mean, as a group, do you guys like working together? So if you do another film, will you have the same execs producers, the same?
It's easier that way. It's easier if you know people.
Yeah.
It's easier to trust and bank on people, especially in terms of the creative field, because you are just banking on some pages written, and that's where it starts off.
Yeah.
But once you've produced together, you've spent money together, you've taken the risk together, there is a bonding that happens, and I think let's see where it goes.
And they've seen our processes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
Yeah, it's long. When you have smaller budgets, movies take long to make.
Yeah.
But with long also comes the time to spend time together.
Yeah.
So that has added a lot of friendships. That's made a lot of bonds together. So yes, again, something in the future. Karan is writing another of his stories.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. I'm going to throw it out one more time to the audience. Anyone got any questions? Yes.
I just wondered why you chose black and white and not colour.
He did answer that a little bit, but I think maybe 2 or 3 big reasons are. One was that the script was didn't have too much color. Neither did the life of Chhai, who happens to be the protagonist.
We were like at one point in time thinking of something like desaturated color, because the way we were thinking of it is her life just is very bare that way. They're just barely living. So there was nothing to show glamour, or there was no color left in her life at this point. She was trying to get it to a point where it would get better. Yeah. So then we said, let's just go ahead with like a little more purer to the root of it, and it just becomes black and white.
I wouldn't have thought of that. I mean, black and white.
Yeah.
A lot of the time is just because colour wasn't available.
Yeah.
Everyone got made in colour.
Yeah. No, but then we did try it out. We did try it out in color. But firstly, it would look crap with how we shot it, whatever little money that we shot it with, and then the subject was just connecting very well to it.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming. Very much enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing the next one. One more round of applause for our producer.